Hello AMS friends, this is Kori-Maru here to provide a follow-up video to my House of the Dead Remake review for the Nintendo Switch and review the rest of the ports that I have access to. Surprisingly, 5 more ports were announced shortly after the Nintendo Switch version was released. This news came up very unexpectedly for me when I woke up and originally thought that we weren't going to see any other ports of the remake until months later, similar to what happened with the Panzer Dragoon remake. Other than that, I was able to receive review codes for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Steam versions of the game provided by Forever Entertainment, and I will briefly share my thoughts on each version with a score. So let's get started. The PS4 version seems to be similar to the Nintendo Switch version with slightly better graphics and has a great frame rate count as you progress through each chapter. Another feature that the PS4 version offers is an option to use motion control with a PlayStation 4 controller and change the sensitivity of your controller. From my experience with the PS4's motion controls, the cursor rarely drifts during my playthroughs until my encounter with the bosses. That's when it likes to get frantic. Luckily, you can recenter your cursor with the square button. For those curious about the use of the PlayStation Move controller, I've heard that there will be a future patch for the PlayStation 4 version that will allow you to use the accessory and that the game will be upgraded for PlayStation 5. For the PlayStation 4 version, I give it a 6.8 out of 10.
Better be ready, Kyrian.
The Xbox One version of the game also has similar graphics as the Switch and PS4 versions with much more lighting. However, it makes the game graphics look a little muddy, but it makes up for its decent frame rate. Unfortunately for Xbox players, there are no options for any motion controls whatsoever, and that's a Microsoft issue. One thing I wish first party game companies did is to make light gun type accessories for these type of games. Nintendo and Sony did it, so I hope Microsoft does the same. Similar with the PS4 version, the Xbox One version will also be upgraded to Series X and S after release. The Xbox version gets a 6.3 out of 10.
I'll get you, Kyrian!
And now, let's finally take a look at the PC version of the House of the Dead remake.
Say hello to my masterpiece!
The PC version by far has the most impressive graphics out of the 3 ports and allows you to change resolution as you see fit, and it has really good frame rate speed depending on your PC specs. The game cutscenes feel entirely like a B-horror movie and captures that creepy aesthetic pretty well. To me, it also feels like as if you're playing House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn in the arcades. The mouse control feels very responsive, and you can change the sensitivity as well as using other gaming accessories such as a gamepad. Not that I own a Ascendant gun or anything, but I think you can set up a light gun that could work pretty well with this port. There are some noticeable issues with loading the game from the start, and some levels having trouble loading certain backgrounds, but it could be due to the current PC specs that I have, but I still had a better time with this port. By the way, this might be the only version of the game that I know where enemies don't melt away after being killed. That gave me the perfect opportunity to use the pitter to show Dr. Kyrian my feng shui around the mansion. With the PC version of the House of the Dead remake, I can definitely see modders having a field day by changing the music to the original soundtrack and adding new characters. Now if only someone could give Rogan and G their second costume and make Sophie a playable character, that would make me a very happy camper. As I mentioned before in my previous review, this remake may not be the perfect product that longtime fans expect it to be, but in the end, it's still a fun game to play alone, with friends, and even on the go. One last thing I want to say about the PC version of this game, once it receives enough patches to make the experience better for players, I think we should get an arcade port based on the PC version. I give the PC version a 7.5 out of 10. That's all of my thoughts on each port of the House of the Dead remake. Which version of the game are you planning to get? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more Sega video game reviews and other gaming content. Until then, take care everyone.